Thanks for joining me, guys. In this video, I will cover the following. I'm going to show you guys my updated Cusip chart. We now have collected 45 Cusips, thanks to all the members of the MMTLP community. Then I'm going to give you my calculations of conservative naked short shares of 350, 500 million, 750 million. These calculations will illustrate on average how many shares each brokerage would have to cover. Now, we know there is 105 brokerages which have been allocated the 165.5 million NextBridge shares. Okay, out of the 105 brokerages, we know precisely 8 brokerages have received a certain amount. Okay, we know that for sure. We don't know what the remaining 97 brokerages have received, but they've received the remaining 61 million NBH shares. We don't know how many of those 61 million. Okay, and then I'm going to show you guys my updated web diagram, and I've also made a few new diagrams to summarize these scenarios of 350. It'll give you a visual of how to give you a visual of what I am visualizing in my mind, okay, of how this will settle. And let me just say this, everything here is speculation, opinion, and interpretation based on my own personal research. It's there's pieces that are missing, but there's pieces that we have. Okay, there's big pieces that we don't have, such as how many naked shorts there are. We've drawn strong inferences from the U3 halt, from the volume data, from what the CEOs have told us, from what Cromwell Coulson has informed everybody, right? This closed without all the shorts being covered. Okay, and my inferences and other YouTubers have calculated that naked shorts are between 350 to 750 million. I know there's some people that say it's a billion, 1.5 billion, but I'll explain later why I'm using these figures and not a billion or 1.5 billion. The main goal of all of this information and my past videos is to encourage more discourse, encourage critical analysis. When I say critical analysis, I mean not just looking at, just asking easy questions. Ask the difficult questions, look into it, ask for where are you getting that evidence, how are you calculating it, and things like that, right? I want to also try to get more collaboration. I think what's happened so far is amazing. People are getting together to make videos, doing space calls, doing legal analysis on the lawsuits that have been filed, right? This is excellent stuff, right? And I also want especially to encourage sharing of information using social media. My personal conviction from the start, and I've made a video on this as well, is that Torchlight was going to be the torch that started all the squeezes. Okay, but we'll get into that later. Let's move on to my chart. Okay, so this was the list that I've incorporated into this chart. We know these 8 brokerages. Okay, we even have their Cusips, except Citadel. What I did just for the convenience of my chart was I gave Citadel its own fake Cusip number, so I could include its 2900 into the chart, okay, separately. So amongst these 8, they've combined been provided 101.5 million shares, NBH shares. Now the remaining 61.5 or 61.459 million were allocated to the rest of the 97 brokerages, which are undisclosed. Okay, of the 105, 8 are disclosed. The remaining 97 are undisclosed, and they've received the remaining 61.4 million. Okay, 61 plus, and this is another thing, I didn't add the 2.5 direct register. Okay, so in the final calculation you can add that into it, right? But by not adding it, my figures are very conservative, okay? And by adding it into it later, it just makes it that much worse for the bad actors, whoever shorted this. That means they owe these many as well on top of it, which I didn't include in my calculation. I'm solely going off of these 8 that we know, and I am assuming they don't need a single more NBH shares, okay? I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that they didn't naked short and they received the exact amounts that they needed to cover all the shares for their clients. And then because I added Citadel, the 45 I've turned into 46 Cusips that we know, minus that from the 105, that remains 59 unknown Cusips, okay? So in scenario 1, okay, in scenario 1, 350 million, I subtract the 101.5 million. This amount was given to the 8 brokerages, okay, right here. 8 combined received 101. So I took that, subtracted it from 350 million. That leaves 248 million. And then I divided the remaining over the 97 remaining brokerages, which gives us an average of these 97 brokerages each holding or needs to cover 2.5 million NBH shares. Now, out of these 97, we don't know 59 of the brokerages. We don't have the Cusips for these 59. So what I did was I multiplied what each brokerage owes individually by 59, and the 59 unknown brokerages owe 151.1 million in scenario 1. And remember, this includes the 61 million that's undisclosed that they got, okay? But we don't know which brokerages got how many. All we know is that the 8 brokerages got a combined total of 101 million, okay? And the same thing with scenario 2. I took 500 million, subtracted what the 8 brokerages we know received. That left 398.4. I divided that amount over the 97 brokerages. That meant each of these 97 brokerages needs to cover 4.1 million NextBridge shares. Now, out of these 97, 59 are unknown, and these 59 combined owe 242.3 million NBH shares in this scenario. Okay? In scenario 3, same thing, 750 minus the 101 that we know that the 8 have. That left 648.4 million. And then divide that by 97. On average, each owes about 6.6 million. And the unknown combined owe 394 million, okay, of this. So if we, and then, so let me just show you my chart. So for this batch in scenario 1, combined, they owe 17.9 million. In scenario 2, they combined owe 28.7 million. And in scenario 3, they owe combined 46.7 million. Okay. Now, all the numbers which I've highlighted blue, these are the 8 brokerages that received their shares. So Robinhood received 12.8 million. I put that in blue, but I didn't add it to the total because I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that they don't need to cover. They received the exact amount of shares they needed, okay? Now, this is being very conservative because if Robinhood actually needs to cover 25 million, that means some of these in this group don't owe 2.5 million. They owe like maybe 1 million or 800,000 or 100,000. Maybe the vast majority of naked shares are being held by Robinhood. But regardless, what I've did is I'm giving Robinhood the benefit of the doubt, right? That they didn't, and they received all the shares they needed, leaving the other brokerages using the same Cusip to cover the remaining. So in scenario 1 with 350 million shares, this batch owes 15.3 million. In scenario 2, 24.6, Scenario 3, it's 40.1 million. Okay. And over here, same thing. I didn't include E-Trade. I included these 8. Okay. And these 8 gave a total of 20 million. Okay. And I did the same thing for all of them, all the way down to the total. And like I said, the 59 we don't know. I took the average for 350, 400, 500 million, and 750 million. And they all combined 151, 242, and 394 million. Okay, these unknown brokerages.